So good afternoon or a morning, evening, depending where you're from. Thanks for being with us this afternoon for this webinar about Nirvana. A few information before starting the webinar. It will be held by Marta. For those who don't know Marta, she has a degree in physiotherapy and then a PhD in neurorehabilitation and neuroscience. So we believe she is the right person to talk about the topics of today. And I will be supporting Marta, getting a look at your question. You know that you can write your question in the Q&A session that you find on the lower bar. You can write your question anytime. I will take a look at that and eventually stop or wait some break to answer your questions. The webinar will be divided into three main parts: an introduction part for a general overview of the Nirvana system for those who have no idea what we are talking about. Then there will be a second part, which is mainly focused on the hardware and setup of the system, showing the news of the new version of the system. Then we will make a short break to check if everything is okay and continue then with the third part with the news related to exercises and the application and clinical part. So I think this is enough. This is all. Marta, you can start whenever you want.
Hi, nice to meet you all. Welcome to this webinar. We are going to have an in-depth look at the Nirvana system and in particular the new features of the new Nirvana 3. So we prepared a presentation with also videos and some parts where you can interrupt and as also Luca said, ask questions or suggestions. So first, what is Nirvana? Nirvana is a medical device for motor and cognitive rehabilitation. It creates a sort of a sensory room, we call it sensory room, using augmented reality and encourages patients to participate in immersive experiences. With Nirvana, the patient becomes an active player, of course, in the treatment and in the rehabilitation treatment, becoming proactive in performing every task. This approach allows, of course, the patient to test the success of his performance and increase his levels of autonomy. His main applications are patients of any age with both motor and cognitive deficits, and in particular, neurological patients, neurological and neurodegenerative diseases, development disorders, behavioral disorders, etc. The main therapeutic benefits and improvements allow, of course, to have a motor and cognitive recovery, improvements also in coordination, motor control, and also different subset of course, motor control, dexterity in both upper and lower limbs, and also, of course, with Nirvana, therapists can work on balance, trunk, control, using also visual and spatial and constructive abilities, and above everything, also at the same time, the patient can also improve the cognitive functions, and in particular, memory, attention, perception, and executive functions. How it works, just for people that don't know it yet, the system creates two different projections on floor or walls, and for the patient, of course, to interact with the provided stimuli. There's a motion analysis device that we call sensor. The device detects the patient's behavior and adjusts the projected environment, of course. And we also offer a set of pre-configured exercises that can be customized in real time and adapted to the patient's ability. So depending on the type of the patient and the population, of course, that is in front of you. And they provide a strong stimulation rehabilitative audio and visual feedbacks. So here, just to have an overview, there's an image of complete configuration of both floor and wall, okay, with the projectors and the respective sensor that you can see on the sides. We help also with the design and the installation of the system in the room. So in order to provide the best immersive room, the sensory room, as we call, for rehabilitation, we help you in designing like the best solution for the type of room or the type of equipment that you have. As regarding, generally speaking, the main technical characteristics of Nirvana, of course, we offer a series of technical characteristics such as the possibility of customizing clinical exercises, both for motor and cognitive therapy, and in particular, the combination of both together during the therapy. And also to personalize the report, because we offer like the possibility to create the report at the end of the exercises in order to have the possibility to track and monitor the patients over time. And the system has a web-based interface, and it is very easily accessible from PCs, tablets, smartphones. So it's easy because it has a web-based interface and a cloud database. And finally, it is GDPR compliant. So now more entering in the parts of in the new software, in the new features, technical features of Nirvana 3. So just regarding the last release, the last version of Nirvana. First, we worked and we changed the hardware components. You see here the pre and post hardware components of Nirvana 2 on this side and Nirvana 3. So in the beginning, there was a big sensor with the server and net. Now we just have one sensor that replaces the previous one, which is lighter, smaller, so easier also to install, and just one more powerful PC, which is our brain, that of course has the software inside and creates the Wi-Fi network and the web-based network for the connection of projector and sensor. Finally, here you can see we also added the possibility to integrate a 360 grade webcam, an Insta webcam that actually can follow the configurations, so you can set and moves during the configuration wall or floor in order to also record the performance of the patient during the exercises in both configurations and save it and send it also to clinicians and colleagues, etc. We have here a video of the new sensor, which is also for you easier to see how it is at the moment. It's way more lighter and smaller. I will just start it.
Nirvana is revolutionizing the future of rehabilitation with its innovative and compact hardware that boasts greater convenience and improved performance. This new superior sensor enables smoother exercises and greater responsiveness.
So you see it's a new sensor that of course increase accuracy in terms of detection of the movement. So also just with this new sensor, the performances of Nirvana increased much more compared to the previous one.
Nirvana is
okay. We also implemented new functions, new easier functions, especially for the clinicians, for the therapists to use Nirvana way better compared to the other software, and also to simplify the usability. I will start again. So you see from this video, like very small video, that also the interface changed a little bit in terms of functionalities. It gets a little bit easier also for the clinicians to use, who is not maybe just a technician, and it gets user friendly. We also improved the part of the calibration setting. First, I have to say that for installation training, we always offer our customer care team to provide you all the information, the documentation to install, of course, and we help you in the installation, and we train also for the best use of the system. But we also improve the possibility to change the calibration or to slightly move the sensors and recreate the same calibration in an easier and faster way. We have a video also of explanation of how it works very quickly, and you can also ask me later if you have any questions.
For system calibration, we have introduced new features. Entering from the admin profile on the left side of the screen, you can immediately see the active configurations on the profile and specific information about the sensors and respective projectors. Just below is the calibration button, which allows you to enter the sensor calibration page on the respective projection. First, you need to select the sensor you want to calibrate. We added the possibility to install the sensor rotated 180 degrees, thus allowing calibration with projector in normal and flipped positions. On the left are specific parameters to set the minimum and maximum sensor detection distance, and other orientation and smoothing parameters to allow calibration even in more noisy conditions. When calibration starts, the box outlined by colored dots, corresponding to the corners of the projection, appears on the screen. The Auto Calibrate button helps to find the points of the projected image and match them with the detection perimeter of the sensor. The colored squares correspond with the points outlining the projection. After saving and closing the window, the calibration will be saved and always used by default every time you use the system. Once the calibration is complete, the circle should follow the hand as it moves. Finally, in the Nirvana version section, you can see the currently installed version and available updates.
So, as you see also in the video, first we implemented new features in the calibration in order to give also a better calibration in, for example, noisy walls or noisy environments. But we also added the possibility to just look from the admin setup to also check if you have releases and updates to download in order to have the system every time up and the software updated, and also have every time new exercises, new features, and possibility to add new things to the system. And so in this part, so the calibration part and the technical part, in summary, comprehends these main features. That also Luca wants to add something to this first section.
Thank you, Marta. No, just to summarize, then there has been a couple of questions I'm going to answer. So probably the size of the sensor, Marta, was not clear enough. Consider that it stays in the palm of your hand. So this sensor is very small, very easy to install anywhere in the room, even with critical conditions. So it's very compact. The responsiveness, probably we will be able to see later when you show the exercises how improved is the responsiveness of this new system. That makes the exercises much smoother than in the past. Easy functions, okay. New tags, this is very crucial because if you are focused on a certain kind of patient, you don't have to scroll all the list of exercises, but you can go directly to a part of the exercises that you are interested in, and the improved calibration, which is also a very interesting new feature. No, mainly the question was about, I forgot at the beginning to say that you will all receive the registration of this webinar, and the distributor, Marta, were asking for the presentation. We will also send them the presentation. Marta or Claudia will send the presentation to our distributor, which are also attending the webinar today. Then let me see, there are other questions. How many total games do we have in Nirvana? Okay, the games we Vipul Sharma. We will talk about this after the presentation of the third part of the webinar. Then there is an interesting question about how to calibration. If there is a auto calibration and we don't need to do the calibration every time we start the system like old version. Well, I don't think it's necessary to make the calibration anytime, right, Marta?
No. If you don't move projector and sensor, of course, or the entire system, for example, to another place, another room, or just slightly. So if you just stay, leave everything still, you don't need to calibrate every time. You just save the calibration for wall and for floor, and that's it. And then you just enter with your dock user, and then you start directly, like right away, you just start the exercises.
Yeah, so it's improved, but it doesn't have to be made so that often. Occasionally, if someone touches the sensor, of course, maybe you need to recalibrate, but not that often. Then Ray is asking if there's any suggested model of the projector. We can recommend some, absolutely, yes, which we normally use, but generally speaking, lumen and resolution are the most important features of the projector. So it depends on the quality that you want to create into this sensory room, but we can recommend some projector for sure. We will see the system in action. Yes, Dorothy, now we go into the more interesting part. And how much area you need to work. Okay, this is still related to the hardware. Which is the minimum area, Marta, that you need to make a reasonable exercise? Because you can do very small, but then the exercise is not that useful.
I would suggest and recommend at least 4 meters. I mean, we talk in meters, so 4/3, 4/2.
Okay, meters. And in feet?
No. Okay. We can check it and send it to you by email.
Okay. Well, the other questions are more related to the exercises. So I suggest that you continue showing the exercise, how it works, and then we will have another Q&A section at the end of this part of the presentation.
Okay. So let's go more through the new exercises. So the implementation of 2 actually different parts. First, we improved the existing exercises. Second, we also added the new exercises. And every time we have releases, there will be releases. You will have also the possibility in some releases to also update the list of exercises and of course have improved the exercises and also new ones. So we recommend every time to update your software, download your releases, so you will have news. So as you probably know, as you actually know from Nirvana 2, the exercises, the core of Nirvana is the exercise database, and this is divided in 6 main categories. The proposed exercises aim to restore and compensate for impaired cognitive and also motor functions. In particular, Nirvana enables motor rehabilitation of the whole body, but also of some specific segments of the body. So you can also concentrate more on the upper limbs, on the lower limbs, on the neck, so more the balance control, etc. And you can also add the possibility to work on cognitive rehabilitation, such as, for example, with specific cognitive domains, rehabilitation of training, of memory, attention, executive function, perception exercises. All the exercises can be used for wall or floor projection. So every exercise can be used both for configurations. All of the exercises have visual and audio feedback, and also all the exercises can be customized and adjusted in real time based on the patients that it's in front of you, the subject that is in front of you. The 6 main categories are these ones. So as you also know from Nirvana 2, we have specific exercises about sprites, follow me, and I'm going a little bit quick motion, grasping, so just mimicking the grasping of an object, and games, of course. So the first part of and I will show you now some videos. The first part was main of improving the existing exercising, especially the ones that we thought they were more important also in terms of implementing both cognitive and motor domains. For example, regarding the improve existing exercises, we worked a bit on this one, which is the exercise that is called bring black sheep in the fence. So as you see here, we implemented the possibility to change the orientation of the fence entrance or add like new entrances in order to work more on some specific neurological pathologies such as neglect, strokes, etc. We also added more obstacles, intruders. So the main thing here is just to bring the black sheep, not the other animals. And as you see, also the sensor, which is lighter, smaller, etc., is way more accurate. So you see, I'm moving like faster my hand, and is not shaking. So there's not like a kind of noise of the sensor. So this was just an example. The second example that we also improved is the balloons. Here we added the possibility to have a target or many targets, so depending on of course the ones that you want to select. So here, for example, you have to select just the blue, red, and pink balloons, and if it's correct, if you touch the corrected one, you have like green screen, as you see here behind. If you touch like a wrong color, of course you have like a red screen. And here you have also the track, you get track of the errors and of course the right corrected touches. So you have also a final report which is a little bit more complete, and also get tracks of all the rehabilitation the treatment over time. Finally, we also improved the pick the apple and also pick the oranges, but we just show the pick the apple here. Here we implemented the number of apples because it can be of different types. So yellow, red, green. So we also implemented the possibility to shift the basket. So also in terms of working with attention or some specific pathologies. And of course, we increase the number of baskets based on the number of types of colors of apples that you have. And also you see here with this video that with this sensor is way easier also to bring and to put like the apple in the basket. So these were ideas, of course, and we are still implementing other exercises, but these were the already existing and that we are improved the exercises. Now we show you a list like of videos. So we thought it was easier for us to show videos of how it actually works. Because this is our system that we have here in BTS of the new exercises. So first we added the possibility to have not only the letters, not only the alphabet, but letters and numbers together. So in this case, you have to select the right order of letter, number. We have also intruders, obstacles, etc., that you can still change, or the number of total letters and numbers can be increased or decreased. Another one is the logical association. This one is similar to the memory cards, but in this case, you have to select the two cards that have a logical association between one and the other. So, for example, the cats and or the plant with the water. And you can also still increase the number of cards at the same time or decrease depending on the patient. You can also increase velocity and etc. So this is a little bit still more cognitive than motor, but you can still combine both, and you can also still have both configurations. So you can it can work during floor and wall configuration. This is the snowman, but actually from next month it will be also possible to have the same exercise with different scenarios, with different puppets. So you have to complete to dress the snowman with all the objects that you can find in the screen. And this is a grasping exercise. So you have to grasp and dress the puppet that you see with all the objects. And this will be possible also in different scenarios, such as, for example, puppets, dolls, robots, etc. I just go very quickly through the other ones. This is the saving retrieve. So first you will see an object that you have to retrieve. So for example, this was just one, but it can be more than one, like in this case, two. So you have to select two objects, for example, in the supermarket or in the kitchen, or you can also change scenario. And as you see here, you can find the retrieve objects, for example, at school. This is an exercise that we add more for, it's called tap the button, is more for training reaction time. In this case, you have just to touch the green light that appears. This can be done like also in a floor configuration, and you see the errors, like the numbers, the green and red numbers that are, of course, the corrected ones, the corrected touches, and the errors. You can still change the number of bottoms. So you can also increase velocity, so it can be a little bit more challenging also for the patient. This is similar, but it's more on reaction speed. So you start from a base that you always have to touch, and then you have to touch all the colored bottoms. This also works very well, especially, for example, in floor configuration, if you want to work more on lateral gait, little jumpies, and you can increase or decrease the range of the colored button that you have to touch. So you can still increase difficulty. Now we have some exercises that are more on the perception part of rehabilitation treatment. You have to select, in this case, of course, the object that is different in size, and you have different scenarios. You can increase, decrease the number of objects present in the screen, and also you can actually select where to place on the screen the object, in order, for example, just to train one side, the other side, just the upper part, the lower part, etc. And these exercises were similar. Also, this one is change of orientation. So you have to find the object that has a different orientation in the in the screen. And these are mainly like flags of different types, different colors, and this is the same. So you have to choose the right one among like a group of objects of the same orientation, and you can still select where the different object can appear. Finally, there is another similar exercise. It is a change of shape. So in this case, you have to check where is the different in terms of shape object among the others. Here, for example, you have to find the sad faces like among all the smileys. And also in this case, you have different objects, different scenarios, and this is still something that it can help the patients in perception, attention, and you can also combine other type of treatment at the same time. Finally, next month, and this is something that we wanted to tell you, we will also give you the possibility to, with the new release, to upload your own picture, your own photos, and create these specific clean window exercises, which is the exercise where you have to clean with your hands or with your also the lower limbs wet window and discover the picture behind. Now there will be the possibility to upload your own pictures, so also picture, for example, more linked, like emotionally linked to the patients, and use your own ones to create these specific, these more personalized exercises, and of course train and work with the patient with more tools, for example, in the emotional part, in the memory part of cognitive rehabilitation, etc. So this will be also present in the new release next month. So just to summarize, we have a series of new features more regarding the technical part, so the hardware components or the easy functions that regard the useness of and the utility of the system also from the clinicians. But we also increased the number of exercises. We are still implementing every time also new existing exercises to perform better and better. And of course, we improved the possibility to calibrate, improve the responsiveness of the sensor. So in order to give you like a better experience also using Nirvana system. So I think we are done with the presentation. We are still here open to questions, answer your questions and doubts. I don't think I can see your questions.
I can do it, Marta. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
Thank you very much. The presentation was very, very good. Thank you. Can you go back to the previous slide? So we leave the features highlighted. Okay, thank you. I tried to, I was reading at the questions, so now I try to give them a kind of a logic order. So there are a few questions about the number of exercises, and so Vipul is asking how many total games do we have. Maybe the total number is not that important, but the categories and maybe
so
you
the
can
total
spend a few
number
words.
is about 50, but actually every exercise have different scenarios. So like the same exercises could also be divided in more than one. So it's difficult to define, but they are always increasing. So at the moment we have about 50, in total 50 exercises. Okay, thank you. Then a couple of very similar questions about the number of people who can use the system at the same time. Just one. Okay. In cases, but it can be a little bit personalized, but just in some cases, for example, like during games, there can be an interaction of more than one patient, but the detector, the sensor just detects one movement at the same time for the moment. Yeah, let's say I remember that we played with it in more than one. So if you want to have people playing and moving, I would say randomly, you can use the system with more than one people. But if you want to have then a clinical report on the way the exercise has been made and how many targets he hit or missed, then you can do for one person at a time. And in fact, there are a couple of questions about a report. So maybe you don't have a report right now in this presentation,
but
No, but we can send it if you're interested. The report uses the same parameters that we set for creating the exercises. So the execution time, the number of errors, the corrected objects, and you can track like over time in the same report the patient, of course, during different treatments. But so far is very straightforward and very simple to understand. We want also to implement this part, adding like new features also in the report. That is something that we are going to work on. But it's very simple and very useful also for the clinician, for the therapist to use, for example, and to add to the folder of the patient.
So there are a few people asking for an example of reports. So maybe later when we send the registration of the webinar, we can also add some example of reports. So you will receive it by email, so you can have a look at the report. And then if you have any doubt or question, you can get back to us. Then let me see, we answered this. Okay, now there is a crucial question. Many people do that. Is it possible to add these new exercises to the 2.0 version, or how to migrate from 2.0 to 3.0? What is possible to do, Marta?
So the best thing to do is to buy the NIRVANA3. Actually, we are still doing some tests with the previous software, so the NIRVANA2 software. The only problem is that since we changed the sensor and the new sensor is way more accurate, the accuracy of these exercises is not, is not guaranteed with the previous software. So probably the sensibility of the exercises, if it's still working, wouldn't be the same. So we always recommend to change like software and hardware. If it's not possible, we are doing some tests to have the new exercises in the previous software, so in the NIRVANA2. But it's something that we are still working on at the moment. So
someone is asking also about the cost and the transition from 2.0 to 3.0. We cannot give you a unique answer because in some countries we have the local distributor. It also depends on when the Nirvana system is out to the market since
last year.
Now it's more. No, this one, but I mean, we have more than 10 years systems around the world. So we have 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. So please get in touch with your sales reference, either a distributor or a sales manager from BTS. And this person will be taking care of giving you the proper answer in terms of pricing, change the version. If you bought the 2.0 very recently, for sure there will be, you don't have to buy the new one from scrap. There will be a special treatment, so we cannot give a unique answer. Sorry for that. Then there were a few answers about the possibility of, for example, Maurizio is asking if there are different levels of difficulties for each game, and some other people was asking if it's possible to customize, to personalize exercises.
So yes, every exercise, as I also explained earlier, can be personalized in terms of difficulty. So you can increase, for example, the number of objects or increase velocity of the balloons arriving, like pumping in the screen. So this is a tool that you can use to decrease the difficulty level. As a personalization in terms of putting like something that is yours in the software, we added this just one for the moment exercise. It is the customized clean window. In this case, you can upload your own picture on this exercise that allows you to like clean the window, like the wet window with your arms, so with your upper limbs. So in this case, you can actually use your own picture, your own photos. But for the other ones, you can decrease the difficulty level, and you cannot like personalize with your own picture at the moment. I hope this is clear.
I think so. Then there is a question about, this is more setting up. If an internet connection is required.
Internet connection is required just for downloading the releases, so the new updates. So we suggest to at least try to connect to internet once every 3-4 months, so 3 times per year, in order to upload everything and have the latest releases. But like for the day-to-day usage, you don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need the internet, because it's just a software that is in the PC, in the brain, and it starts and create their own Wi-Fi net, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, Marta. Then there is a question about if does Mohammed is asking if the system requires a dark room to be used. I would say not necessarily, but
Yeah.
okay.
I would say that we help you in the designing the best corner or the best place for Nirvana. We do not recommend to place Nirvana like just side a big window, of course. You can use windows with like curtains, like black curtains, to cover and to use. I mean, the darker, the better, especially for patients to get like a little bit more involved in the augmented reality. So I would say that would be like the ideal perfect solution. If it's not possible, it still works. The projectors that and also the requirements of the projector that we suggest you are fine also for some light, so it's still fine. It's just not very immersive, it is not too dark. But the sensor works in the same time, in the same way.
I take the occasion to say that we normally now we install the system during shows and congresses. I take the occasion to invite you to go to our website. You have the list of the shows and congresses that we will hold in the next month. For example, in Bologna in April, we will show a Nirvana into an area which is very light and it works with no problem. It depends on the quality of the projector, but we don't use extraordinary projector. We use normal projector. Then something more clinical, Marta. Elisa is asking if we have any experience with young patients with multiple sclerosis.
What type? How much young? Yes, actually, there are also publications from our key opinion leaders that worked a lot also in the definition of the main exercise, the main core of exercises, and that's actually published with multiple sclerosis. So I would say that yes, we have experiences. If you want, we can also share with you this publication. We have a publication list. But usually, I mean, I always say that actually Nirvana can be used for any type of patients of any age, especially neurological patients. So yes, we have experiences. We can send it to you.
See, okay, maybe we are not answering all the questions because there are really a lot. And maybe not that accurately, but we will keep trace of your questions and eventually get in touch later after this web. This one, William, this is very interesting. Is the software only used for therapeutic or also for diagnostic purposes?
No, this is a medical device, but is set for treating, for neurorehabilitation. not for diagnosing. No, you usually use Nirvana for the rehabilitation progress. So you can progress the treatment over time of the patient in order after a diagnosis. So after like specific medical examination. And you can find, like, you can track with the report the improvements of the patient, like until the end of the treatment. But this is not used for evaluation. This is just used for the report. Helps just in tracking the rehabilitation progress. So it's just for treatment.
Dorothy is asking if we can move the system from place to place. No, Dorothy, is not I mean, you can move in another room, but you have to set up it again. So the system is not intended. I know there are other systems which are smaller and can be moved from room to another, but with different features and performances. So our system is intended to create a room which you can move from time to time, but I would not say that the system is transportable. Then Maurizio is asking if it is possible to work at the same time with a 2D projection through balance exercises and upper limb praxic exercises.
To work. Yeah. It is possible to work in the same time with 2D projection through balance exercises and upper limb praxic exercises with 3D version of Nirvana. So you can combine for sure balance exercises and upper limb praxic exercises, of course, with our new software, so NIRVANA3. The 2D projection, you mean like both configuration, like wall and floor, I guess. But you can, I mean, you can set up the configuration that you want. You can use the exercise that you think are more suitable for training the balance and upper limb at the same time. For example, I just give you an example. If you remember the clean window, so the possibility you have this clean, which is this window which is wet, and you have to clean like with your upper limbs. You can ask, for example, the patient not to move his trunk and his feet, and just stay still and using just the trunk, just the upper limbs. In this case, for example, you will train more also the balance at the same time as you are also working with the upper limbs. So it's still, you can still like play with the request of the exercise and try to figure out the best way to train like both tasks, in this case upper limbs plus balance with a praxic patient with the patient in front of you with the exercises that we have. So the answer is yes.
Marta, maybe you can get in touch with Maurizio after this event because he made several clinical questions. Then, are you bringing the Nirvana to CMAS in UK? We have a meeting this afternoon after this webinar about CMAS. Probably yes. We will have SmartDX cameras for sure. Biobit and EMG, the Nirvana, we don't know yet, but we are still discussing Harry. So we'll let you know as soon as possible. For how many patients we can record and save movements? One patient only, Khaled. Then I saw an interesting question, William. Does this software have artificial intelligence to suggest optimal rehab setting exercise? Not yet, William. We already started to use AI, so artificial intelligence, for the tracking of the movement. And this will be something that will be released later this year, which will be also very interesting for all of you. Not yet in terms of this decision on which is the optimal rehab, which I would say not strictly connected to the Nirvana system. This is a wider scenario that will probably come in the next years, but not yet. So yes, from the part of movement recognition, not yet for suggesting the proper settings exercises. I think, let me see, any limits in players' height, weight? No, there's no limit, no limitation in that. How long does the system last, Dorothy?
You mean how long the exercise or the system in terms of hardware? Because the exercise can last as much as you want. I mean, there's of course a limitation of seconds, but you can set the total time of the exercise, and you can also create your playlist, your therapist of exercises, and you can just choose 2 or all of the exercises, so it can be shorter or longer. In terms of usage, it can be also switched on the entire day. We recommend, for example, if you are working in a facility, in a hospital, to switch off before going home and switch on again the day after. So the sensor is not like connected every time. So just this, but it can stay like switched on also in between one patient and another. So during sessions and during treatments. If I answer.
Dorothy, if you're not satisfied of our answer, get in touch with us and we will speak personally. Then possibility to make own exercise or purchase one. Okay, let's say that we are already working on an editor which in the future will allow you to create your own exercise. But at the moment, this is not available. As Marta was showing, you can start importing your own pictures, maybe some relatives of the patient, such kind of thing. Yes, it's possible in a month from now, Marta, you said. A real editor will not be available soon, but if you believe that some kind of exercise is essential for you, please get in touch with us. Marta is the product manager of this system. Get in touch with us and we will evaluate how much difficult it is to create it for you, and possibly it's possible to purchase it. In case it requires a certain number of hours from our side, we can negotiate and we can find an agreement on developing specific exercise that you need to run the system. Okay, I think the limit that we communicated was an hour. We have still 2 minutes left. Thanks again to all of you for spending time with us this afternoon. Very appreciated. And let me spend the last minute to thank Marta for the job, and also Claudia and Greta, which are behind the scenes to create this and arrange all this webinar. There is another slide for the next appointment, Marta, or not?
No.
For the next webinar? No? Okay. Well, can you tell us when is the next webinar?
Yeah, we organized a trainings webinar about the use of EMGs and the combination EMGs with inertial sensor, so the free lab system, and in particular one protocol which is the drop fall protocol, next week, April 5th at 2 same time, so 2 CET.
Okay. So for the ones who are interested in this free MG and G sensor training, see you next week. Otherwise, CIMAS or Expo Sanità in Bologna are the next appointment. And you will receive the registration of the webinar. Get in touch with us for any doubt, question, or with your reference person, either distributor or a sales manager from BTS. So thanks again, grazie Marta, and see you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye.